Imagine for a moment that you have this beautiful, incredible vision. It's your next move in life, something you've been dreaming about, working hard toward, and preparing for in every way possible. It's the kind of goal that gets you up in the morning, fills you with energy, and makes you feel alive. But here's the thing, there's a delicate power in keeping that dream close, almost like a hidden treasure. When we protect our plans, we shield them from the countless opinions, doubts, and criticisms that can dilute their potential. Now, this isn't to say we shouldn't seek advice or input from trusted mentors or those who genuinely care about our well-being. But think about how often sharing something too soon has led to doubts, distractions, or even a loss of excitement. Sometimes, when we announce our next big move too early, we're opening the door for people to voice their fears or skepticism, things that may have nothing to do with our capabilities or vision. And it's natural, everyone has their own perspectives, fears, and limitations. But when we let those views seep into our minds, they can chip away at the confidence we need to pursue our dreams. They can create little cracks in our enthusiasm, and if we're not careful, those cracks can grow. We often think that by sharing our plans, we'll feel more motivated, maybe even accountable, to achieve them. And yes, sometimes it can be exciting to talk about our dreams with others, to hear that encouragement and validation. But here's where we need to be careful. The early stages of a dream are fragile. It's like planting a seed. When you first plant it, it's tiny, vulnerable, and needs just the right amount of care, water, and sunlight to grow. If it's exposed too soon to harsh elements, it might never take root. Our dreams work in much the same way. They need nurturing before they can stand strong against criticism or questioning. They need the quiet confidence of our belief to grow strong enough to withstand whatever challenges come our way. Keeping your next move to yourself for a while can be an empowering experience. It teaches you to trust your instincts, to rely on your own judgment. The path to success isn't always clear to others, especially if they don't share your vision or understand your why. That's okay. The point is that this vision was given to you, not to them. And when you're secure in that understanding, it becomes easier to move forward confidently without needing validation or approval from others. You learn to walk with purpose, to take each step with conviction, because deep down you know this is right for you. And as you walk that path, you build resilience. By holding your vision close, you're building mental toughness. You're learning to rely on yourself in a way that can't be shaken by anyone's opinion. And here's the beautiful irony. Once you're confident enough in your direction, it won't matter if others criticize or question it, because your roots will be deep. You won't be swayed by temporary doubts because you took the time to nurture that vision without interference. Think about the successful people who have inspired you, visionaries, creators, and innovators. Many of them didn't start their journeys by announcing every step they were going to take. They worked in silence, building, planning, and taking action. They let their progress speak louder than their words ever could. And when they did finally reveal what they'd been working on, it was undeniable, unshakable, and ready to stand on its own. That's the power of moving quietly and keeping your vision close until it's ready. And as you do this, as you guard your vision, you'll find a new level of peace. You won't be as vulnerable to the ups and downs of others' opinions. Instead, you'll be able to focus on what truly matters: the work, the process, the joy of building something that's yours. And that's an experience worth protecting. So as you move forward, remember that not everyone needs to know every step you're planning to take. Keep it close. Give it a chance to grow in its own time. Trust in your path, in your instincts, and in your ability to bring your vision to life. And one day, when you're ready to share it, the strength of what you've built will be unmistakable. Money, finances, income, these are such personal topics, yet they're often treated like benchmarks for our worth or success. But the truth is, disclosing your financial situation can bring in layers of judgment and assumptions that rarely add any real value to your journey. Think about how, when we openly talk about what we earn or what we have, we can unintentionally invite comparisons, envy, or misunderstandings. And these are distractions that can pull us away from what really matters. Money is a tool, it's a means to an end, not the end itself. When we begin comparing our earnings or financial achievements to others, we can lose sight of our purpose and get caught up in someone else's race. Sharing income details too freely often shifts the focus from the work we're passionate about to the image we feel we have to maintain or project. And honestly, that's a slippery slope because it places value on a number rather than the quality of life, the peace of mind, and the fulfillment we feel each day. There's something deeply liberating about keeping your finances private. It's an act of preserving your self-worth, of saying, I don't need to prove my success to anyone but myself. When you stop sharing details about your income, you reduce the risk of people attaching labels or judgments to you. You free yourself from needing to impress, needing to explain, or needing to validate yourself through numbers. This isn't about hiding. It's about recognizing that your financial journey is unique and personal, and not everyone needs access to it. The reality is, when we talk about money openly, it can sometimes bring more harm than good. Financial topics have a way of creating unspoken pressures. For instance, you may feel an unneeded pressure to maintain a certain lifestyle because people now know your income level. Or worse, you might start making choices just to match up with someone else's standard rather than your own needs and goals. But when you keep your financial situation private, you remove that pressure. You live and make decisions based on what feels right for you, not on what you think others expect from you. And let's consider the other side. When we know less about others' finances, we're less likely to compare ourselves to them. Think about the peace that comes from not knowing the details of what others make or how they spend. When we focus on our own path, we're able to make choices that align with our personal goals without the noise of comparison, clouding our perspective. Keeping your financial situation private allows you to focus on building wealth in a way that serves you, not in a way that shows off to others. There's also a layer of security that comes from this discretion. Finances can be a sensitive issue, and sharing too much can sometimes create dynamics of entitlement or expectations from others. It can attract unnecessary attention, and in some cases even strain relationships. By choosing to keep your income private, you're setting a boundary that protects your peace, your resources, and your relationships. Ultimately, how you handle your finances is about more than money. It's about your values, your priorities, and your commitment to living on your terms. When we stop sharing income details, we gain the freedom to define success on our own terms. And there's power in that. There's power in knowing that your life isn't measured by numbers shared or judgments made. Your worth is defined by who you are, not by what you earn. So in this journey of growth and self-discovery, remember that you don't owe anyone an explanation for what you earn or how you choose to spend it. Keep it close, keep it personal, and allow yourself the freedom to focus on what truly brings fulfillment to your life. Family matters, personal dynamics, those stories that live with our homes, these are things that often shape who we are, yet they're some of the most private aspects of our lives. Sharing details about family issues with others can be tempting, especially when emotions are high and we want someone to understand what we're going through. But here's something I want you to consider. Family dynamics are nuanced, deeply personal, and often misunderstood by those outside of them. When we openly share the challenges or disagreements we face within our family, we may end up inviting unwanted judgments or opinions that only complicate things further. There's a certain sacredness to keeping family matters within the family, almost like honoring an unspoken bond. Family life is rarely perfect. It's raw, it's complex, and it can bring both immense joy and deep frustration. But when we start sharing family issues outside, we're allowing people who may not fully understand the history or the relationship dynamics to weigh in on situations they're not a part of. And often these opinions can unintentionally add stress or confusion. They can make us second-guess our own perceptions or even turn small misunderstandings into mountains. By keeping these matters within a close circle, we give ourselves the space to handle them with the patience and understanding they deserve. When we let others into the private details of our family lives, they naturally view those details through their own lens. This can lead to misconceptions or assumptions that might paint a skewed picture, influencing how we view our own family members. Family relationships need room to breathe, to grow, to be worked through without outside voices influencing how we should feel or act. The best way to protect that space is to guard those private moments. You might think that opening up about family issues is a way to find comfort or understanding, but sometimes it ends up being a source of unintended stress. For one, it can create divisions within the family itself, especially if private matters are brought into public conversations. When family members discover that their personal lives have been shared openly, it can create a sense of betrayal, a feeling that they're not safe to be themselves. The people closest to us deserve the assurance that their lives won't become the subject of someone else's conversation. This trust is a form of respect and loyalty, one that forms the foundation of healthy relationships. And then there's another layer. When we hold our family matters close, we maintain a certain level of peace and control over how we experience these relationships. Without external judgments, we're better able to understand and navigate family challenges with an open heart. We're more likely to approach these situations with empathy, rather than with the feeling that we have to fix things for the sake of appearances. When outside voices aren't involved, we're free to come to our own conclusions, to listen to our own instincts, and to respond in a way that's true to us. Not only does keeping family matters private protect relationships, but it also allows us to manage our emotions in a healthier way. Sometimes sharing too much can blur the lines of our feelings. We may end up feeling obligated to change or adjust our natural responses to fit someone else's idea of what's right. But when these moments remain within the family, we learn how to communicate more effectively with those who truly matter without external interference. We find strength in handling disagreements. We grow in our ability to forgive, and we deepen our bonds through mutual understanding and respect. There is also a sense of pride that comes from handling family matters discreetly, from not needing outside validation or opinions to navigate our own lives. It's a way of saying, I trust my ability to manage what's mine. And while seeking guidance from trusted individuals is sometimes necessary, it's important that we're selective about who we confide in. Choose people who are genuinely supportive and can offer objective insight, if anyone at all. At the end of the day, your family journey is your own, and it deserves to be handled with care and confidentiality. Honor that space and trust that the quiet work you put into these relationships will bring more peace and stability than any outside opinion ever could. Not everyone needs to know the entirety of your goals. Your dreams, your ambitions, these are personal. They're the result of your unique vision and the purpose you've been building for yourself. Think about how special it feels when you have a goal that lights you up, something that gives you purpose every day. But when we start sharing our dreams too openly, especially with people who might not fully understand them, or worse, might not support them, we run the risk of allowing those dreams to be shaped by external influences rather than by our own passion. dreams are fragile. When they're first born, they require nurturing and protection. It's like having a small flame that you're trying to turn into a bonfire. And at that stage, too much wind, too much exposure can blow it out. There are some who will listen to your dreams and offer true support, but others might look at your goals through a lens of their own fears or insecurities. And here's the reality: their doubts are often just a reflection of their own limitations, not yours. But when we hear them question or criticize, it's easy to internalize those words, to let them shape how we feel about our own potential. So why not guard your dreams a little closer to your heart? Why not give them the time to grow in private, away from the noise of outside opinions? You see, there's power in working in silence, in moving toward something significant without needing validation every step of the way. When we keep our goals private, we give ourselves the gift of uninterrupted focus. We're free to try, to fail, and to adjust our course without feeling like we have to explain ourselves. This privacy creates a space where we can truly dig deep, explore our own motivations, and build our goals on our own terms. Imagine how much stronger you become when you're not influenced by what others think you should be doing. When you're free from explaining or justifying, you can commit to the process. And it's in this space of quiet dedication that you develop resilience. You're not looking over your shoulder, not worried about who's watching or what they might think if you stumble along the way. Instead, you're fully invested in the journey, ready to give everything it takes to make this goal a reality. And think about how satisfying it feels when you've been working on something meaningful, something that's yours alone. And then you reach a point where the results start to show. People will see your progress, but they won't know every struggle or challenge that went into it. That's part of the beauty of keeping your goals private. It's like a story unfolding. And when the results become visible, they speak for themselves. Your success becomes a testament to the power of perseverance and focus, not to the opinions or doubts others tried to cast your way. Keeping your goals private also protects your energy. Every time we share a goal or dream, we're putting energy into those words, sharing a part of our vision. And sometimes this can drain us more than we realize, especially if the response we receive isn't supportive or understanding. But when we hold on to our goals, we conserve that energy. We channel it back into the work itself, letting it fuel our actions instead of our words. This focused energy is powerful. It's what sustains us through the ups and downs of the journey. It's not about isolation, it's about discernment. There are those who are meant to support you, those who will understand without needing every detail. They're the ones who respect your silence and trust your path. These are the people worth confiding in, but they're few. And the rest, they'll see the results in time. When we choose to keep our goals private, we set boundaries that protect both our dreams and our peace. So as you pursue your goals, remember that they don't need to be shared to be valid or valuable. Keep them close, nurture them in the quiet of your heart, and trust the journey you're on. Let the work speak for itself when the time is right. And until then, let the strength you build in private be your guide. Your deepest insecurities, those things that make you feel vulnerable or unsure, these are some of the most personal parts of who you are. And while it's natural to feel the urge to share these feelings with someone, to seek comfort or validation, it's often wiser to guard them closely. Because sharing these parts of ourselves too openly can expose us in ways that aren't always constructive, leaving us open to judgment, misunderstanding, or even unintended harm. Insecurities are like tender spots within us. They need patience and compassion to heal, not exposure and critique from the outside. When we share our insecurities openly, we're essentially handing others the blueprint to our emotional vulnerabilities. It's a gesture of trust, yes, but one that needs to be made with discernment. Not everyone understands the weight or the history behind what we struggle with internally. Some may offer genuine support, but others might not know how to respond, or worse, they may view these insecurities through their own critical or competitive lens. And it's too easy for those responses to leave lasting marks on us, making us question ourselves even more deeply. There's also a powerful strength that comes from handling insecurities privately. When we confront them on our own terms, we're given the space to understand them, to figure out their roots, and to work on them without outside pressure. We begin to see these feelings for what they are: temporary states of mind that don't define who we are. By holding them close, we give ourselves the chance to address them with care, to build resilience over time without the weight of other people's opinions influencing our journey. Keeping your insecurities private doesn't mean suppressing them, it means nurturing them in a way that fosters growth. It's about becoming your own source of support, learning to talk yourself through those moments of doubt or fear. When you build that inner dialogue, you become stronger. You develop a sense of trust in yourself that no outside validation or reassurance could ever replace. You're able to confront these insecurities on your own terms, transforming them from hidden fears into opportunities for growth. And let's think about the reality that insecurities are often fleeting. What might feel overwhelming today may fade in time as we grow and as our perspectives change. But when we share these personal struggles openly, they become a part of our narrative, remembered and held onto by others, even when we're ready to let them go. By keeping these feelings private, we give ourselves the freedom to change, to evolve without having our past doubts echoed back to us by others who may not realize we've outgrown them. There's also a protective element here. By guarding our insecurities, we reduce the chances of them being used against us, whether intentionally or unintentionally. Not everyone has the emotional maturity or understanding to handle someone else's vulnerabilities with care. Some people, even unknowingly, might use our insecurities as a means of asserting their own power or influence. But when we choose to keep these parts of ourselves private, we're creating a boundary that protects us from this kind of negative energy. Handling insecurities privately allows us to grow quietly, to address our feelings without the noise of external opinions or expectations. This quiet growth is where true strength is built. It's a space where we learn not to rely on the opinions of others to validate or invalidate our worth. We discover that we are capable of working through difficult emotions, capable of overcoming whatever self-doubt or fear might arise. This self-reliance becomes a foundation, one that no external judgment can shake. So as you journey through your own insecurities, remember that it's okay to keep them close. They're yours to handle, yours to heal, and yours to outgrow. Give yourself the time and space to understand them fully, to nurture your own self-confidence, and to become the person you're meant to be without the pressure of outside influence. When it comes to your future plans, sharing them prematurely can sometimes bring about unnecessary complications. The excitement of a new idea, a new direction, a goal you're ready to go after, these are things that ignite us, that fuel our actions and dreams. But announcing them too soon can sometimes create pressure that actually holds us back rather than propels us forward. Future plans are like seeds. They need time to take root in our minds and hearts before they're exposed to the elements. There's a quiet power in keeping your plans to yourself as they're still forming. When we keep them private, we're able to work through the details without outside voices complicating the process. Every time we announce a plan, we invite feedback, opinions, and sometimes even skepticism. And while some feedback can be helpful, not all of it is constructive, and not all of it is aligned with your vision or purpose. We often get caught up in responding to other people's perspectives, losing track of our original intent, getting distracted by questions or doubts that weren't even there to begin with. When you keep your plans private, you give yourself the space to navigate challenges, setbacks, and adjustments on your own terms. There's a natural ebb and flow to progress. Some days are filled with wins, while others require you to reassess, to make changes, and to even take a few steps back. By keeping your plans to yourself, you're free to pivot without the need to explain or justify your decisions. You're able to follow your intuition, to make choices that align with your vision without the weight of someone else's expectations or judgments. And here's something that we often overlook every time we share a future plan. We're also expending energy. We're letting out some of that precious excitement, some of that motivation that would be better spent on action rather than words. Talking about a plan can sometimes trick our minds into feeling as though we've accomplished something, when in reality we've only discussed it. By keeping it private, you channel that energy back into the work itself, letting it fuel you as you take each step toward making that plan a reality. When we protect our plans, we also protect our peace. Announcing them to the world can sometimes invite unnecessary stress, the pressure to live up to what we've shared. Suddenly, a personal goal becomes something public, something others feel entitled to comment on or inquire about. But when you choose to hold your plans close, you maintain control over how you experience them. You're free to set your own pace, to work in the background, to fail, and to succeed without the need for external validation or approval. Keeping your future plans private also allows you to surprise others with your success. Imagine the satisfaction of reaching a goal, of achieving something significant, and letting the results speak for themselves. There's a quiet power in showing rather than telling, in letting your accomplishments be the first thing others see. By the time they're aware of your progress, the work has already been done. You've already proven to yourself what you're capable of, and any praise or recognition is simply a byproduct, not the fuel that got you there. And perhaps most importantly, keeping your plans to yourself teaches you self-reliance. When you're not relying on external encouragement or validation, you become your own source of motivation. You learn to trust yourself more deeply, to follow your inner guidance, and to rely on your own strength. This journey becomes an exercise in resilience, one that prepares you for the road ahead by building a foundation of confidence and self-assurance. So as you move toward your future, consider the power of keeping your plans close. Protect them, nurture them, and let them grow in the quiet of your own commitment. Focus on the steps you need to take, on the small wins, on the challenges you'll inevitably face. Let the work speak for itself when the time is right. And until then, let your journey be yours alone.